tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people can say something without saying it.
The PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, I did that, and placed a smiley face emoji.
Like, they raid your crib and the surveillance footage of the is in your DVD player. They be like, oh, okay, thank you, brother. This can't be at your crib.
Bortland's release has been withdrawn due to the revelation of new evidence connected to Melly and his home. Consequently, when court proceedings start in September, YNW, Bortland, and Melly will stand trial.
Mr. Henry is going to remain set for trial September the 10th at 9 o'clock with Mr. Demons, pending whatever future motion that I may hear. I'm in another capital case right now. I have 4 hearing dates left available between now and September the 10th. I gave the parties those 4 dates, and I'm holding all of those dates and times open only for these 2 defendants. So anything that you need me for, okay? Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Haddad, for now, Mr. Henry will stay scheduled for trial on September 10th, alongside YNW Melly. Judge Martin fine-informed Bortland's attorney during Wednesday's session. And to be honest, the worst thing that could happen to him is to be tried alongside Melly. There is just one main reason why the prosecution wants Bortland to turn on Melly, and that is their purpose. Bortland was out on bond, but Melly has been imprisoned for the last 7 years. However, everything changed when incriminating evidence was found in his home and he was detained again. Snitching could be his only option now that the pressure.
Police co-defendant YNW Bortland was booked into a Miami jail Monday night and is being held behind bars on an out-of-county warrant. We just confirmed the warrant is out of Broward County for witness tampering. The warrant obtained by Law and Crime Network states as follows. On or about April 10, 2023, continuing through and including July 22, 2023, Cortland Henry, aka Bortland, along with others, did unlawfully and knowingly engage in misleading conduct toward another person with the intent to cause or induce them to withhold testimony. The warrant continues the alleged witness had been summoned by the legal process to the jury trial of Jamel Dimmons, aka YNW Melly. The dates in the warrant are important. Jury selection for Melly started in mid-April, and a judge declared a mistrial on July 22nd, the same day the warrant claims Bortland allegedly tampered with a witness.
Here is what happened soon after. Pictures appeared that purport to be notes taken during last week's raid on YNW Bortland's home, and they have now been formally added to the Broward County court file. Bortland had drawn the locations of particular jurors in the courtroom and even described their looks in these pictures. If those jurors were to find Melly guilty in that initial trial, it truly appeared as though he was plotting something.
Keep it real, this is sloppy. Bortland, how the f you gonna have the notebook of the jurors in your house? Holy sh! Like, come the f on. It's like doing a and having the surveillance tape in your DVD player or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like they raid your crib and the surveillance footage of the is in your DVD player. They be like, oh, okay, thank you, brother. This can't be at your crib.
8/3:2-1 prosecutors acted swiftly as this new evidence was stacked against Bortland. A no-contact injunction has reportedly been filed in the case of YNW Melly. This implies that Melly and Bortland are totally cut off from one another, no discussions. No legal back and forth, nothing at all. Complete quiet. Isolating Bortland and exerting pressure seems to be the clear objective here. It is obvious that the prosecution is counting on Bortland to lose it if there is no communication.
Here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It's just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but That goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
Bortlen will not simply sit quietly and take a life sentence if he genuinely thinks he did not commit this serious crime. It makes sense to assume that he might turn against Melly in the end, particularly in light of the events of their most recent legal dispute. In fact, during the first trial, Melly's attorneys attempted to place the responsibility on Bortlen. That is an important detail. It is also the primary cause of the case's mistrial. The tables may now turn, and quite sharply.
For his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with two bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland Henry.
During the trial, Melly's own defense team told the jury that Bortlen was the one who had deceived federal authorities. He was the one with gunpowder residues on his hands, they pointed out. They also underlined that he was the final known individual to be with YNW Juvie and Sackhazer prior to their passing. Therefore, this arrangement doesn't seem fair to Bortlen at all. He needs to be given the opportunity to defend himself on his own. However, they have chosen to test them together instead. To make matters worse, prosecutors hired a forensic specialist to verify that Bortlen had tested positive for crime-related material.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of hot residue and two component particles. And the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of hot residue and 1 2-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was hot residue present on the hands.
How did YNW Bortlen respond to all of this, you ask? According to a source, Bortlen sent a mysterious tweet on the same day that Melly's mistrial was granted. It said, "Mind games don't work on people like me." And then it included a handshake emoji, which made it look as if he was accepting a deal. Many people believe that Bortlen's entire social media silence since that time is a clear indication of his upcoming action. Since then, Melly hasn't communicated with him. And Melly lost it all when it was revealed that they would be tried together. Evidently unhappy with the way things were going, he reportedly yelled at his legal team in court for the first time.
Yes, sir.
Against our advice, our client wants to proceed.
You objected it. They're requesting me to determine this automatic stay.
Based upon what our client has instructed us, yes.
Prosecutors are attempting to present fresh evidence against Melly in addition to all that is happening with Press A, as it's happening with Bortlen. This time, it has to do with his purported gang membership. A Facebook post featuring Melly and Young Thug is one of the main items they wish to utilize. This post, according to the prosecution, connects Melly to the Red Street Gang, they assert. That Young Thug is purportedly a member of the same group. They hope to bolster their case in the impending trial by tying the two together.
Same thing, the use of the slap term, 5-point star, snake. He's saying he's YSL. And he puts up his YNW for life hashtag on it with Mr. Devins has the big B hand signs displayed.
Right, and these individuals again, I'm assuming that's also the Young Thug. That's also unknown.
Yes.
Also important to your investigation, correct?
Yes.
Also publicly available for anyone to see and capture.
were other witnesses inside the courtroom who stated they witnessed Melly shouting at his legal team. Witnesses said that Melly yelled, "I don't care. Ty don't belong to any gang." They cannot demonstrate it. In light of the new gang-related evidence, prosecutors are attempting to introduce. His annoyance seemed to explode at that precise moment. The public outburst was the center of attention. Melly made it clear that she was not involved with any gangs. The court's acceptance of such, however, is another.
924-071. Call for an automatic stay while
they were aggravators. They go to membership in a gang. There are things that the jury would have to find before going into penalty.
Not aggravator, that's the death penalty. Aggravator, that's the gang enhancement itself, Your Honor. That was charged. He was charged in committing the murder for the furtherance of the gang, which is an aggravator in terms of the guilt.
Something that they would have to find by way of an interrogatory.
Yes.
The length of the legal process is the reason. Melly doesn't appear to care if the new proof is presented. His attorneys will face a ton of paperwork if they attempt to get that evidence excluded. The amount of documentation we're discussing could cause the trial to go on until 2027. In that case, Melly would have been imprisoned for 9 years without being found guilty. Just waiting for a decision is a lengthy process. Therefore, accelerating can seem like the better course of action from his point of view. He is already under a lot of pressure.
We find this case to be under the most compelling circumstances. Mr. Devins, as I sit here today, has been in custody for 2,339 days. Besides Mr. Devins' cases, which I've removed, this division currently has 38 other cases, special set for trial. 22 of those are murder cases. Numerous of those are death penalty cases. And right now, this division has trial special set in December of 2026.
The state appears to have a completely different strategy. In fact, prosecutors are working to postpone the trial once more. To ensure Melly receives a life sentence, they want to collect and present as much evidence as they can. This time, they want to eliminate any possibility of doubt in the courts. They have more time to strengthen their case with each delay. The goal of the tactic is to overwhelm the defense. They're obviously not in a rush to finish this.
Finally, Judge, just so, again, the record's clear, given Judge Murphy's order, and there would be an intent to comply with it, what the court is compelling the state to do is to go forward with evidence that has been suppressed. In other words, we would not be able to use that evidence.
You can't.
Right.
It's suppressed. That's exactly correct.
As of now, the attorneys could go to the appellant court and request that they issue a stay or place a hold on the trial, and that seems to be the only way that this trial does not move forward on the scheduled date. So if that doesn't happen, Melly trial number 2 will begin in about 2 months.
After a long and demanding day in court, YNW Melly's mother updated fans on Instagram. Live, she disclosed the ultimate determination regarding the formal start date of Melly's trial. People were eager to hear something specific after all the back and forth and delays. It felt personal when she went live, as if she wanted to address the issue directly. After weeks of uncertainty, followers waited for clarification. Everyone was left in suspense by the court drama. However, the trial date was finally announced.
What happened today is the judge has said we are not delaying trial. We will be going to trial September 10th. Even though there's things that's up with the 4th DCA that has been ruled to be suppressed and not able to be used in the upcoming trial, the judge is upholding those orders. So therefore, all of the, basically what was up on appeal was all of that stuff, what they were using as an enhancer in order to get the death penalty qualified. The judge ordered all of that to be suppressed. So moving forward onto the new trial, the state will not be able to bring in that evidence.
Melly's legal team asked for a bond release that would extend until the September trial at the end of the court session. Regretfully, the plea was turned down. Melly has reportedly been incarcerated for 2,320 days without receiving a guilty conviction. The main reason for the bond denial was his ex-girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton. After years of hiding outside the United States, prosecutors disclosed that Mariah had just recently returned to the spotlight. She was meant to testify at the initial trial, but she allegedly ran away after Melly paid her. This action gave many people the impression that the Florida legal system might be engaging in
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
Because of an outstanding warrant, Mariah had been living abroad for years and evading arrest. She recently wanted to see her family after a lengthy absence, but she was arrested as soon as she landed at the airport. After a difficult period in jail, the judge made her an offer at her initial court appearance. If she testified against Melly, she would be released. She consented right away and left in 20 minutes. Mariah has extensive knowledge of YNW Melly's life, therefore, that's bad news for him. God's plan, not mine, she wrote on Facebook after being released, thanking her supporters. The true problem is that she allegedly has messages from Melly
Filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
Melly's current case with Sackhazer and V's deaths is being conducted independently of the witness tampering charge. The crazy thing is that Melly might still receive a life sentence if he is found guilty of interfering with a witness, even if he is found not guilty of murder. The most terrifying aspect: the feds are said to have good evidence. For more than a year, they have reportedly prohibited Melly from using jail phones for this exact reason. His mother, Jamie King, stepped out in an interview because things were so bad. She claimed that by preventing him from using his
son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
The government were merely speculating that Melly used jail phones to interfere with witnesses. They wouldn't be preventing him from using them. Only when they have hard evidence does that type of restriction take place. Melly could sue for millions of dollars if they didn't. However, the feds have the proof locked in, so they don't act carelessly like that. Things are not looking good for Melly, especially because Mariah Hamilton is now collaborating. YNW Bortland is probably flipping as well, especially since Bortland can explain a significant aspect of what actually transpired 5 hours after the incident. Melly was allegedly heard on camera telling Juvie and Sackhazer, "This will end badly."
Easy Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHHH.
In 5 hours after the crime. At precisely the same time, Melly was caught on camera dancing with YNW Bortland in a parking lot while pretending nothing had happened. His face showed no signs of astonishment, anguish, or concern. It appeared to be another typical day. Prosecutors have used this video to imply an unsettling degree of detachment. Several people find it offensive that he acted so casually. Soon after the deaths of 2 of his buddies, it conveys to the court and the public that
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very popular. Turned still. Hey! The dog still turned, regardless of what happened. You already know.
there was not even the slightest expression of sorrow over the passing of their 2 best friends. Melly's total silence on the matter only made things worse. Furthermore, he was caught on camera only half an hour before the incident. Visible in that footage, Melly exits the studio and climbs into the Jeep's back left seat. He was there even before Bortland Juvie and Sackhazer entered. That positioning becomes significant since it supports the hypothesis of what transpired.
Excuse me, you're able to see? Yes, all right.
In court documents, it is said that the direction of the bullets traveling left to right in the car supports the claim that they originated from the back left seat where YNW Melly was positioned. This detail is important. The forensic analysis is the source of that exact quote, corresponds to the location in the security footage where Melly was last seen sitting. The fact that Juvie's own mother openly acknowledged Melly's presence in that particular seat is even more damning. The defense finds it more difficult to make an argument when there is such agreement across forensic reports.
Can you state your name, your full legal name for the jury?
I'm Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the victims in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Janelle.
Something odd occurred following the shooting. Despite the fact that everyone observed YNW Melly sitting in the back left seat of the vehicle, Melly was not present when the two victims were taken to the hospital. He didn't even show up at the emergency room, let alone ride along. Rather, he inexplicably vanished from view. He was then reportedly picked up by fellow rapper Fredo Bang on the side of the road. Investigators had a lot of concerns after that abrupt departure. In a life or death scenario, why wouldn't he remain with his alleged
and Chris Thomas are... So what you're also going to find out is while Mr. Devins is out there on the side of the road, 4 in the morning, 4:42 specifically, he sends a drop pin, digital homing beacon, to his current location, to one of his friends, Frederick Givens. Frederick Givens is also involved in the music industry, and he asked to be picked up. Frederick Givens, then about 11 minutes later, is sent another drop pin where Mr. Devins has moved a couple of meters. What you're going to find out as well, though, is these digital leashes, they have more than just phone calls.
Prosecutors intend to utilize this information against Melly in court. It is particularly significant. Bortland made no mention of Fredo Bang during his interrogation the night of the incident. Not a word. Prosecutors are confident that Melly and Bortland purposefully concealed Fredo's involvement in order to hide their traces because of their silence. If Bortland omitted the fact that Melly was actually picked up by Fredo Bang immediately following the crime, it begs the question of what else they might be concealing.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Man, I was playing music, getting off the exit. I was already getting sleepy, almost hungry, you know what I'm saying? And like, just out of nowhere, like, I just heard, you know what I'm saying? So, and I ducked down, you know what I'm saying, in the car, and I almost crashed the car.
Let me back you up a few minutes. Where were you coming from?
I was coming from the studio, from Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale studio. Which way did you take?
I took I-75, 595 to
75.
Expressway. Yeah.
Then you took 75 south.
Investigators realized that Bortland's story was completely nonsensical. The more they looked into his account of what happened, the more contradictions they discovered. He made an effort to remain composed and self-assured while being questioned, but the facts simply didn't add up. Officers understood he was becoming caught up in a falsehood when he finally began to stumble over his own words. His story was unraveling, which only served to exacerbate the evidence against him.
Here's the hard part where we're having a hard time to understand, is that we shut down that entire area and we had officers shoulder to shoulder walk it out. They didn't find as much as one shell casing. They didn't find one piece of glass, nothing. Nothing to what you said adds up. And it's hard.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, that's the class.
I mean, for whatever reason, your two friends, are these your good friends?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These my like,
these your two, I'm assuming close friends.
Yeah, we got.
And you're doing them an inservice by not telling us the truth.
I'm telling you the truth, sir. I don't like. How? What do you want?
How do you make shell casings disappear?
I don't know. How can I tell you about a shell case?
The interrogation took a turn for the worse after that. When it became apparent that the cops didn't believe his account of events, Bortland's annoyance started to show. He began to become clearly agitated, speaking louder and displaying symptoms of rage. To make matters worse, the cops persisted in questioning him and pointed out inconsistencies in his account. His poise began to waver as the tension in the room rapidly increased. Bortland was aware that the police were obviously not persuaded at that moment. Interview 2108-2154. Officers often change techniques at this point in the questioning when the suspect begins to shut down or get defensive. Resetting the tone is their tactic, which is akin to starting over. They will provide simple, direct questions in an attempt to trip up the suspect by contrasting his responses with his prior statements, not to obtain fresh information. It all comes down to identifying discrepancies. Because of this, the officer, in Bortland's case, changed the subject to inquire about minor, impromptu choices made during the purported drive-by.
And I'm driving, ducking for my life, trying to make sure I don't get hit. And you telling me, you telling me about shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. I'm driving. I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna be worried about? You know what I'm saying?
I know it's not for you to worry about.
Shit crazy, bro.
But if you tell me it happened there's got to be some evidence there. There's going to be broken glass, just like there's broken glass over here when you guys open the doors and stuff like that. Okay, there's going to be broken glass over there when the windows got out. There's going to be casings from the people at your car. Okay, there's going to be evidence over there. Okay, right now there's nothing. I kind of think I know what happened because I got information.
The officer chose to get right to the point because they were running out of time to do the questioning legally. No more evasive inquiries or dancing around specifics. If you know who did this, would you tell me? He asked Bortland bluntly. It was a desperate attempt to persuade him to break, either by making an outright confession or by showing signs of hesitancy that might be used against him in court.
By just telling me the truth, even if it's something that I don't want to hear, but I respect the truth rather than BS, okay? And a simple question. If you knew who did this, okay? You may or may not know. If you knew who did this, would you tell me? It's either a yes or no question. Answer.
Honestly.
Yeah, honestly. The truth. You wouldn't?
Because I wouldn't want to be a part of it. I wouldn't want to be.
Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Melly is truly guilty? Go ahead and hit the like button on the video if you still enjoy Melly's music.